lovely ones out there. This is room 4441, and we are on the talk show Casanova. So today I am here. In fact, my name is Kobe Bid when I'm here with
Mr. Josh.
Charlie. What are we discussing today?
So today we will be going deep into success, and we'll be looking at the perspective from the Gen Z perspective as well as the millennials perspective.
Yes, success. In fact, it's a very, let me say, important word for a lot of us because, we go through the rigors of life, and at the end of the day, we are expected, or we expect ourselves to reach a certain height. So what does it mean, to be successful to the Gen Z and to the millennial? So that is what we are going to delve into today.
Yeah.
Bro.
So basically, we will also look at the similarities, differences, and also their impact with regards to what they think about success. So this would be really a very interesting one. So as we always say, like, share, and then
subscribe. You have to subscribe.
Casanova.
That's very important.
Yeah.
So first of all, I would like to know your view, your general view, about success, like personally. What is success for you?
Well, I would rather begin with so when we say Gen Z, what does it mean? When we say millennial, what does it mean?
Right.
So for Gen Z, is someone who was born between the years 1995 to 2012, and then the millennials is between 1980 to 1994. So I would want
laughing?
No, relax. Like when you see my baby face, it should tell you I'm part of the Gen Zs.
Are you sure you have a baby face?
Well, so
I don't believe you have a baby face.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So are you a millennial or you a Gen Z? Like, be truthful.
Okay, according to the definition I saw online, millennials are those who were born, I think, from 1980 up till about 1994, 95, 96, 96. And then Gen Zs, they start from 97 up to the 2010s, 2010, 2012. So I am a grandfather of the Gen Zs. I belong to the early Gen Z generation. So yeah, I am a Gen Z, and I'm sure you're a baby.
I mean, let's forget about this. Okay. So guys, so when we talk about success from a Gen Z perspective, is being able to get whatever they want to do possible, or they are able to make possible their goals. So for the Gen Z,
don't you think it's for every generation?
Yeah, but the difference, I think, is that millennials are, a section of the people where they like to do things individually. Yeah. But with the Gen Z,
kind of self-centered.
Exactly. Exactly.
Very selfish.
Well, and then we have like the Gen Zs who like more to form like teamwork to make things easy for them.
Millennials? Are you talking about the millennials?
No, the Gen Z.
The Gen Zs, okay.
So for the Gen Zs, from my perspective, I believe that they like to collaborate more, and they like to seek for direction more, right? With regards to the millennials, they are more independent, if I should say. So in terms of their successes, it differs a bit, because now I believe that what the millennials would think as success would be quite different with regards to the Gen Zs. So I would say, for example, a success for a Gen Z will be that, oh, okay, so I've been able to
You've been able to do it.
I've been able to finish, let's say, high school, right? But for the millennial, he or she looks at, somewhere, let's say, masters, let's say PhD, with respect to like education. But for the Gen Zs, they do not like school. So for them, even attaining high school, they see it as super success. But with the millennials, it's just basic. Everybody has to attain this level. They don't see it as any big deal as compared to the Gen Zs. That's what I would say with regards to the success, perspective of these two groups. So I mean, I throw the baton to you. It looks like I'm talking plain.
Yeah, it's like you are delving very deep. I mean, I was just trying to know, your general perspective. Just as you said, I think success is very subjective, and it's different for different people, even within the same generation. Do you get me? And when you talk about success, you can also look at different aspects of life. Just as you said, when it comes to education, it's different. When it comes to maybe finances, it is different. It is different. When it comes to maybe how do you call it? Family. It's different. For the various generations. So personally, I think I'll go by the book definition. You understand? It's just basically being able to accomplish whatever objective that you've set for yourself. And it is very subjective.
For those, listen, for those who really want to understand the difference, in terms of the rate for the whole population, percentage. So in 2019, the percentage of Gen Zs were about 32% of the population.
Which population? The world
population?
The
world population. And with regards to the millennials, they were 31.5%. Right. So this is fact, right? And
according to, where is your source? You're just saying it is fact.
No. This
is your source.
This is according to the UN Population
Census
Council
or whatever. Okay.
Okay. So as I said, now I want us to delve into these specifics. So I want us to tackle the conversation from similarities, in terms of the behavioral, part of Gen Zs, and then millennials. What do you think they have in common? Because I have one, but I want you to say yours.
I should say, coming from Africa, I'm bringing the African factor, please allow me.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would say I'm a bit close to the millennials. Do you get me? I kind of, I was, the little 5-year-old who will be playing with the 14-year-old, millennial. Do you get me? Or maybe the 13-year-old millennial. So I was a bit in their world. And what I can say is that, this is African specific.
Yeah.
When it comes to education, for instance, you have to be on top of your class.
Yeah.
Yes, it was like that for them and for me, because I was a part of that transition. Do you get me? Yes. So it was more like they were not looking at, like, my dad would just beat me because I was second, I was third or something. Okay. They wouldn't be like, oh, you had 60 in math last semester. Today you have 70. Do you get me? That is an improvement. It was more about competition. Do you get me? And that is what I saw. And I think that is what the millennials saw for most part of their upbringing. And I don't think it has changed
Okay.
for the Gen Zs too.
Oh.
I don't think it has changed. I mean, pertaining to where I come from. Do you get me? It has not changed. Do you get me? One thing I would also say that we have in common is technology.
Right.
Technology.
Right.
We have technology in common. You see, maybe it started from them.
Yeah.
Started from the millennials.
Yeah.
I mean, we are the users. Do you get me? But we are more, accepting to technology. We don't oppose it like maybe a baby boomer would. Do you get me? So yeah, we actually love technology, and we actually also see success, in that light. The fact that I'm able to, get maybe 30 million viewers, or maybe how do you call it, 3,000 followers on Instagram or whatever is a huge success for some people. And even in our day, it is mega, because you can make money off that. Do you get me? So we have that in common. That is what I think. They started it, or it started during their time. Technology was upcoming.
Yeah.
And I mean, we are more, let me say, technology savvy
Oriented.
than they are a bit. But I mean, they are catching up. The old guys are catching up. So yeah, that is what I think we have in common.
Actually, I would say it's very similar, or even the same, because that's literally what I was about to say. Yeah. Because I believe that with regards to similarities, one key factor is technology. How our life revolves around technology. It's as though we can't live without technology in this period, especially when you look at the millennials and then the Gen Zs. So that's a really great point. And I believe that, as we said, the success, story or the perspective from the Gen Zs and then the millennials, they are very subjective. So you wouldn't want to say that what we are saying is entirely, the whole truth. But mind you, there are part of it that is really consistent throughout, and that's what we are speaking about. Okay.
Yeah, but wait, I have one other thing to that I want us to also look at.
Okay.
When it comes to finances, for instance, what do you think is success? I mean, financial, let me say, success. I don't know if there is something like that for the Gen Z and then for the millennial.
Okay, so for me, I would say that when you compare the two, the millennials are independent, oriented, as well as the Gen Zs are more of a teamwork generation. Do you get it? So in terms of their financial knowledge or how they deal with their finances, I would say that the Gen Zs are
the rush.
They go at it, and they do not have a specific direction of attaining or getting their finances. Their roots are a bit like a lot, like the directions to make the money, they're a lot as compared to the millennials. Because mind you, someone is like 12 and then this child has accounts with, following of, let's say, 10 million. So at the age of 18, the person has started earning a lot of money. If you compare that to millennials, you see, even though the technology was there, it wasn't really social media oriented. It was more for efficiency, like bringing new things that would fasten the work process. So I would say that the mindset, I believe that the Gen Zs, they are up for grabbing, a lot of money. But in terms of management, that's the issue. The millennials are able to manage their finances better.
Okay.
Do you get it? But the Gen Zs are able to,
Make it.
make the money.
Okay.
But sustaining it is where the issue lies. So that's what I'll literally say about
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on almost everything you said. Where I don't get you, is where you make the case for the Gen Zs being, a team working generation, and then, the millennials being, the kind of independence oriented, generation. I don't really get it. Do you get me? The reason why I'm saying I
I'm
don't.
trying.
Yeah, I know you're trying. What I'm saying is that, okay, fine. I would say, if you are looking for a generation that, really champions the, independence, cause it's actually the Gen Z. I don't think we are team working. I don't believe that. We are so selfish, and like everything is about us. That is how I see it. Do you get me? Yes. I mean, the millennials, I can't say much about them, but what I can say about their finances, do you get me? When it comes to financial success, I think I can link it to, how they think about, um, job or the source of their finances. Do you get me? It was go to school, especially where I come from, land a job, and then make some money from there. Yes, we had quite a number of them who were entrepreneurs, trying to build things for themselves. Do you get me? But in our time, I mean, with the Gen Zs, it's more like the entrepreneurial mindset is quite higher. Yes, we don't really like being confined in a job. A Gen Z can wake up and be like, they are not serving hot coffee in my office, so I quit.
So you mean their emotional,
No.
maturity is
It's
very
like,
low.
it's not like about emotional maturity. We don't attach our financial success necessarily to a job.
Okay.
Do you get me? We feel like, I can do other things. Do you get me? We are kind of exuberant, and we are like, we have, let me say, the mindset of abundance. We live in abundance. I think that is how we think.
But look at this.
So
Look at this perspective. Sorry for cutting you, but you see, in terms of the jobs available now, if the reason why I said they are independent, the millennials are independent, and then the Gen Zs they are more of like a team workers. Look at the jobs available. If you look at social media, if you look at, for example, AI, if you look at, for example, software engineering, other fields, you see that one person cannot be able to attain, or achieve a set goal. It's more of different
but I think
people.
that has been there since.
No, but when you compare it to, let's say, the millennials, you see, they were made to be independent, and they were made to decide on, critical decisions by themselves. Do you get it? As compared to different individuals coming together to bring out a project, even from the start. I don't know if you get me.
You I think we are talking about two different things here. When you are talking about the work environment, teamwork, it has been encouraged, throughout, how do you call it, human evolution. Do you get me? Yes, even at the workplace.
Okay.
Do you get me? Yes. So it is there. It has been there ever since. And what I would say is that maybe, just as I was saying, we were brought up to be competitive. So it's more like, I'm doing it. by myself. So fine, they had some, aura of autonomy and all that.
Yeah.
So I get it. Do you get me? That is different from, financial independence.
Okay.
Do you get me? Yes. How we think we can be financially successful and independent is different. They were seeing it, in this light. Like, let me land a job. Most of them. That is how we say.
You mean the
millennials?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Most of them. Let me land a job and all that. But someone is just looking at social media. No, a lot of the Gen Zs don't even want to go to a brick and mortar office anymore. Who wants to be at the office? Who wants to work for Uncle Sam? Gen Zs are more like, they are doing a lot of crazy stuff.
Work from home.
A lot of crazy stuff. Even on, certain platforms I don't want to mention. Do you get me? Yes. Technology has enabled us to do a whole lot of things.
Exactly.
That we feel like, financial success means me being independent, doing my own thing, that is bringing in the kwacha. Whether it is being impactful or not, they don't care. Do you get me? Yes. So I think we have that when it comes to finances. We have that independence mindset as compared to the millennials. Please, it doesn't mean they did not have, because those who created the jobs people were doing, some of them were baby boomers, millennials. We have had it in every generation. I'm just saying that it is quite high in the Gen Z generation, or let me say in the generation Z, as compared to the other generation. Okay.
So I think that we've really gone like very, very deep into this, comparison session. So I think we've done a great job at explaining.
Why are you giving yourself the flower? That is for others to judge.
No. I said us. So it's you and I.
No. So why you
no, I mean the show.
It's okay.
The Great Casanova, right?
Let us know.
So I think we'll move on to the next session of the whole talk show. So guys, I know you can't wait. So let's just go right into it.
Hello guys. So we have a few questions for you, and we just want you to choose between Gen Zs or millennials. So the very first question. Work-life balance. Are there differences in work-life balance between Gen Zs and millennials? And which of them does it better? So I'll start with you, Kobe.
I'll go for Gen Zs, and I'll say yes. There are differences. I think Gen Zs, we do it better. We love to party, as much as we want to also make the money. That's what I would say.
Let's hear from you, Josh.
Well, I'll go for millennials because of their independency. So yeah, millennials for this one.
It's so ambiguous. I don't get it.
That's my take.
But okay, fine.
All right, let's go to the next question. So, social impact and purpose-driven work are often important to younger generations. So how do Gen Zs and millennials prioritize making a positive impact on society? I'll start with you, Kobe.
How they prioritize it. When it comes to prioritizing others in general, I think the millennials, they do it better. You get me? Yeah, I don't think Gen Z, just as I said in my previous submissions, Gen Zs are selfish. We are very self-oriented. So I think millennials look out to, maybe have, various forms of impact on the lives of others as compared to the Gen Zs.
And Mr. Josh, your take on that?
Can you ask the question again?
So the question has to do with social impacts. So the millennials and the Gen Zs, which of them really prioritize social impact?
Social impact. I'll go for Gen Zs, and that is to say that it's both positive and negative impacts. Yeah. So yeah, I'll give it to Gen Z. If I'm to compare the impact, like the percentages.
Yeah,
Yeah, more.
you have a very good point. I understood impact from only the positive side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have a great point there.
Okay. So this is a very interesting
It's not a
session.
competition.
This question is very interesting. So, if you were to entrust the world to either the Gen Zs or the Millennials to save the world from, let's say, an apocalypse, which one?
What is an apocalypse?
Let's say
It's not that good.
Okay, so let's basically say we are experiencing the end of the world. Who would you put the charge to, to prevent that from happening? The Gen Zs or the Millennials? This time I'll start with Mr. Josh. What's your take on that?
This one is straightforward. It's fact. Don't ever position Gen Z for this specific role. So I'm giving it to millennials 100%. 100%.
I agree.
Okay.
I actually agree with you. Gen Zs will just run down everything. I mean, I haven't seen that, sense of responsibility amongst my generation. I'm sorry, guys. so I think, the millennials would take that.
Okay. So with this question, you have to agree or disagree and explain why. So Gen Zs are less faithful in relationships compared to millennials. Do you agree or do you disagree? And I'll start with Mr. Josh. And if you agree or disagree, you explain why. Mr. Josh.
Are less faithful.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that this is actually a tough one. So I would say Gen Zs are less faithful when it comes to relationship because of their exposure to the 21st century relationship, and a lot of impact from social media. So most of their decisions are based on, information they take from social media. And normally social media is really not the real life sometimes, and they still stick to it. So if you look at even the divorce rate amongst others, you realize that this Gen Z era is crazy. So they are less faithful. That's my opinion, guys. That's my opinion.
It's okay, fine.
Yeah.
I would say same. No, wait. What? Wait. I wanted to object the, divorce thing that you were talking about. You understand? I don't know how many Gen Zs are married and all that, but yeah, divorce. I think it's more, prominent amongst the millennials than the Gen Zs because not a lot of Gen Zs are married. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. So I think the Gen Zs are not faithful at all. I mean, we can't be faithful because imagine, back then, you were kind of limited to, the people around you, your locality. With online dating, bro, come on, it's very difficult to be faithful as a Gen Z now. You get me? It is not an excuse for my generation. Please, I'm faithful, though. I beg you.
We are all faithful.
I am. So I would say, yeah, Gen Zs are less faithful.
All right. So our next question: what kind of things do Gen Zs tend to worry about or get anxious about? And what kind of things do millennials also tend to worry about? How different are they? Are there similarities or do they often worry about the same things? So I'll start with Kobe.
This is a tough one. The kind of things we worry about. Can I pass this one because it's quite difficult for me. Okay, I would say we worry about pretty much the same things. Few differences here and there. We worry about finances. We are all afraid to be broke. we worry about, our health. In recent times, people have become more conscious. I mean, it's even a general thing. It cuts across generations. Do you get me? Yes, the food we eat, we worry about, how do you call it? The peace of the world. Yeah, I think it's quite the same for all of us. But I think one thing that we don't have the same kind of worry about, maybe, is, marriage and relationships. I mean, amorous ones. They don't care. They don't care. Millennials, I mean, they have some pride and whatever they attach to marriage. So, I mean, they want to cling, my husband, my wife shouldn't divorce me. It's kind of a disgrace. But I think Gen Zs generally tend not to care. Maybe it's a wrong observation, but that is what I think.
Okay, and Mr. Josh?
Yeah, for me, I would say that privacy, because when you look at the Gen Zs nowadays, what they are involved in is quite intriguing. So they love to hide a lot of things, and because we are in a social media world now, I believe that with regards to the differences, the Gen Zs are more privacy oriented as compared to the millennials in terms of percentages. I'm not saying the millennials are not also involved, but who is likely to do that? Then you have to opt for the Gen Zs. I mean, now we see from all the social media platforms, don't view this, stop this, stop that, stop this. So it's literally like they don't want people to see their real life, So yeah, there's really not a lot of things to say with this one.
All right. So we are on to our last part one question. And it is, what would Gen Zs die for that millennials wouldn't, and vice versa? I'll start with Toby.
What would we die for? This one, I think I have to switch my voice. Oh, that is a tough question. I think Gen Zs will not die for anything. Gen Zs can't die for anything. For millennials, I think people can, back then we had stories of people dying for love, people they love. So, yeah, that is one thing they can die for, and they are free to do so, But I don't think Gen Zs will necessarily die for love. Please, some of us would, though. I mean, I'm talking about percentages. And what else? Yeah, that is it. Dying for others. Gen Zs won't. But I think millennials, quite a chunk of them, would. Maybe we've also influenced them, so they've also changed. Yes, that is what I have.
All right, Mr. Josh?
For me, I would say the internet, for Gen Zs, I'm not sure. They would literally die for the internet. That I'm pretty much sure.
Okay.
With the millennials, they seem to be like a group where they're a bit of everything. So they're okay if they're okay if things are not the way they are. So I believe that with the millennials, they are less to die for a specific thing as compared to the Gen Zs, which I know is, internet and mobile devices. They can't live without it. Yeah, they'll kill for that. I think some of them. Sorry. Yeah. So that's my submission.
All right. So on to our last question then, and this question is, it's a bit hot, but yes, we would like your take on that. So the question is, Gen Zs have or hold less value for religion compared to millennials. Do you agree or do you disagree? And explain your answer. So we are starting with Mr. Josh on this.
I like to plead the fifth for this one. Religion is quite sensitive. But I'll say that this Gen Z era, they are more inquisitive and they want to know why things happen. They want to know why things, occur. So they tend to believe in the process, And so I would say that this is hard. Who do I go for? Yeah, so I'll go for. I think the Gen Zs are less and less and less religious as compared to the millennials. Yeah.
Okay. Oli?
Yeah, just as he said, I mean, Gen Zs are less religious. And I think part of it is because, just as he said, we like to question a lot of things. We try to apply logics to certain things, a lot of things, almost everything in our lives. It has to make sense to us. And religion has the tendency of telling you to, put logics aside sometimes. You understand? I know about the Christian faith, for instance, because I'm a Christian. And it tends to do that sometimes. And the Gen Z wouldn't take that. So a lot of us are like, scrap this. I'm not going to follow this. Even if they would, they'll go to the church, they'll come for the gathering and everything. But, when it comes to being religious, following certain principles, to be called a religious person, we tend to pick and choose which ones make sense to us. That's what I would say.
All right, so that's all we have for this session. So I'll leave it to you guys to sign out. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Anonymous. I think it has been a good discussion. Yeah. What do you think? So
spectacular.
Our lovely Louise out there. Thank you for staying with us, and don't forget to subscribe, share, and click the post notification button so that anytime we upload juicy content like this one, you will be the first person to be notified. Thank you.
You forgot one thing.
What?
Don't forget to like.
And comment.
Right.
Yeah, like and comment. Thank you very much.
Sign out.
Au revoir.
Peace.